So my next catch up is Kuma 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 Bear.
Oh, nice. Yep.
And I like this one.
And you saw all 12 episodes?
I saw all of the episodes, and I started watching this season stuff too.
Nice. Yeah. I haven't seen the second season just yet.
I like this one. This one was so this is a weird one for me. This one came out before the pandemic.
Mm-hmm.
So this was one of the ones where I was getting back into anime, and it was one of the first isekai that I watched without really realizing it was an isekai.
Mm-hmm.
Before I was like totally like neck deep in the genre, or in the
back at it.
Yeah. But there's a lot of things that are similar with more current shows, if I recall correctly.
I would argue it's a precursor for sure.
Well, definitely. There was the weirdest thing about that entire show is the first episode, the way she gets kind of like sucked into this world.
Okay.
Because the opening is more realistic.
Yes.
Yeah, like very
much so. It was
hard edge.
Yeah.
Yeah, like she's pretty much on her own. And this game kind of gives her the option of like, hey, you want to come live in another world?
Yeah.
And she's like, all right. And so she's OP, number one. Number two,
because she's like the best player in the world at this game.
And so they offer her the suit.
Yeah, they offered her the suit because she's beat like everything in the game. And she's like the greatest person in the game. And they're like, here, we have this prize for you. It's a bear suit. And they're like, oh, do you like the game? And she's like, yeah. They're like, well, do you want a different experience in the game? How would you like to leave life and come over here?
Yeah.
And she's like, yeah, cool.
Yeah, she's got nothing going on.
Yeah, she's got nothing going on. And I don't think she actually understood the implications of it.
No.
But they're like, okay, we'll put you in the game. Here you go.
And there she is.
And there she is in the bear suit.
Yeah.
So she has to wear this bear suit. I think there's two sides of it. There's the black side and the white side. And the white side is her pajamas. And the black side is her like combat side.
Yeah.
And this bear thing is like super OP.
Like insanely OP?
Insanely OP.
Yeah. Because she manages to throw down with pretty much every legendary creature that comes her way.
Similar to a reincarnated sword.
Yes.
Yeah.
That one, he spends more time leveling up. She doesn't need to.
Okay. She's that OP.
She's pretty much.
She's OP. That bear suit is OP.
Yeah. The focus of this show is more about her bringing food from like our world into their world. Yeah. Very much the focus.
And so I've had a minor discussion with Edwin about this. I get a lot of ascendance of a bookworm from this show.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good natured.
Oh, very much. There's no duplicity or I didn't get the vibe, and it's been a while. It's been about 5 years since I've watched this.
The first season. Yeah.
Since I watched the first season. But I never got the vibe that there was much duplicity. It's pretty much everybody's pretty much good natured in this show.
As you move forward, you can see that there's a darker, a more political element at play.
Yeah.
But they haven't gotten into it yet.
Okay.
It's like toned down. Like, with Ascendance of a Bookworm, they kind of like slowly get to it, but you still have that world where she's looking for books and then she figures out, all right, this only high society can have books. And so you know that there's something there. In Kuma Bear, it's like, it's not as much, but you start to see it a little more towards the end of the season and going into season 2.
Yeah.
because you see how she interacts with like the
king and the princess and nobles and everybody.
Yeah, because she does a favor for them, and
well, they're realizing the value of her, and I don't think that she has quite figured out like how much value she has.
Yeah, and that's where the thing is, because if this were a sentence of a bookworm, what's the merchant's name?
Huh?
What's the merchant's name in the show?
Oh, Benno.
Yeah. Benno would have been like, no.
Yeah.
No.
Oh yeah.
Because there's a point where she's like, she makes picture books, just like she does in Descendants.
Yeah.
For the kids in the castle, and it's like, so
can we get
we
another
have
book?
Some of these books?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And she's
like, books? Yeah. What?
Okay, yeah. She's like, well, can we make copies of it and pass it around? And she's like, okay.
Yeah.
Like Benno would have been like, no.
Yeah.
No.
Let's control this.
Has value.
Yeah.
We're going to make some money off of this. And you can tell that the queen, she's just kind of like, oh, I got one up on her.
Yeah.
She knows she got over on her.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. It's like, I feel that it's like almost like
it's like a toned down.
It's a very toned down version of A Sentence of a Bookworm, in that it's like she's a very positive force in this world, but she's also a transformative force.
Yes.
Because she wants pretty much to eat the way she did on
Earth.
Yes. And that's her main focus. After a certain point, she's like, all right, I've defeated all the big bads. Now I just want to eat, and then she's like, I want to eat custard. I want to eat burgers. I want to eat fries. I want to eat pizza. I got all that. Now I want some seafood. Let me go to the coast. Let me, defeat all these thieves. Get this giant squid. We're all going to have, like seafood now.
Nice.
And now we can get from the middle of the country to the edge of the country. And I feel that the king and queen are going to kind of like use her in kind of like a propaganda kind of way.
I could see that.
But not in a...
Especially the queen.
Yeah.
Because that lady, the king, he's just kind of, he seems like a pretty straightforward, decent guy.
Yeah.
That queen is a little shady.
Well, I don't think
She's
it's
a little shady.
But I don't think it's going to be shady in the way that... I think at some point, she has to face something bigger than her OP powers can handle. In order to make it interesting, number one. And number two, the propaganda will be there either. I don't think it's to hurt her, because they don't. The villains in this show tend to be kind of like stupid or not well organized, if I recall. Yeah. So for them to get organized, number one, that would be like a bigger challenge for her. So we'll see what happens with that. But I get the vibe that any manipulation on the queen's part might end up assisting her in the long run when she does face like those bigger challenges, if that's what's to come.
It could be. I mean, so like thus far in season 2, the arc is like they have the new training students that got to go off on their little excursion.
Yeah.
Or whatever. And the queen is like, so I got a job for you.
Yeah.
I want you to be their adventurer escort. And she like begrudgingly does it.
Well, I did like the fact that they saw her kind of like the students kind of saw her as like, oh, she's this weird chick in a bear outfit.
The one dude, he reminded me a lot of Gilbert from Ascendants.
Yeah.
Because at first he was very adversarial with mine.
Yeah.
And then, like, after she, like, proved her worth, he, like, was like, all right, you're cool.
Yeah. Well, I'm wondering if we're going to see that play out on a bigger scale.
Yeah.
With the second season, because usually what ends up happening is that people underestimate her and her abilities. But at the same time, it's like, I want to see that happen. But at the same time, it's like for the show to remain interesting, they have to present her with challenges that are maybe a little bit more than she can handle.
Yeah.
This isn't like A Sentence of a Bookworm where you watch it and you love it, but you're like on pins and needles because you're like, oh my god, what's gonna happen?
Unexpectedly, especially season 3.
This is more of a comfort anime.
Yeah.
So I don't
absolutely.
Yeah. So I don't know if the emotional conflict will be there.
Yeah.
Because it's like she's OP, and the reason that most of these characters are OP is so that you don't have to worry about them. But mine's just a child, so you're terrified for her because there are bigger forces in the world.
Very brittle child.
Yeah.
Yeah, but in this show you don't get that same vibe. But in order for it to be like more than just a comfort anime, they would have to present something like that.
Yeah. They're slowly building out this world. I expect to see some conflict at some point.
They need it.
They need it.
Yeah.
They need it because it's just been a little too easy for her thus far.
Yeah.
Well, if I may ask, have you caught up to season 2?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right,
yes.
Cool.
There's only like 2 episodes.
Yeah.
Yeah, like if you just caught up, like, oh, I can't wait to watch the new season.
Yeah, like you said, the arc, it's just a little arc of her escorting the kids.
Oh.
Yeah.
Like we said, it's a little too easy. Even during that arc, they do their thing and they fend off the goblins and whatever. And then the big black wolf or whatever shows up and like she defeats them all, like no problem.
Yeah.
One of them like bit her, and she was like, "Well, I wasn't expecting that." So you can see that there's still is slightly picking up a little bit, but like Edwin said, she's gonna have to meet some stakes at some point.
Yeah,
because it's been a little too easy. You're going to see because the queen or whatever, she tells her, "Hey, you escort these kids, you do a good job, blah blah blah. You'll have a favor from me." And she's like, "A favor from me means more than a favor from the king. Like it carries more weight." And she hasn't really cashed in on that favor yet. So if the queen says that, it's going to have to be something big.
Yeah.
And it's not going to be like, "Hey, I just want to make a tunnel to get some seafood."
No,
it's going to be something big.
It has to be. You can't lay that down and then not have a payoff.
Right. So I think they're going to definitely encounter some sort of conflict.
Yeah. And I think the books and the escorting the students, that gives her a new group of characters to depend on.
Yeah.
That trust her and will like back her up at some point.
Because she has the orphanage, like in Ascendance, she has the orphanage that she saw that was struggling, and she ends up giving them jobs at the restaurant, one of the restaurants that she opens up.
Yeah.
Yeah, like you said, that gives her a new group to interact with. So we'll see, because now she's getting tapped in with that royal family.
Yeah.
So it's good to see that. Fina is like her Lutz. She like does all the little stuff for her.
Lutz is awesome.
She cares about her.
Lutz is a true MVP in a sense.
That was kind of like the emotional, like those were the emotional stakes from the first one. Like like they're forming that relationship, and then like because they were poor and because they were like in danger, and then like
mom was dying.
Yeah, like healing the mom finding love. So it was all these like little like emotional stakes that she helped them out with, that helped them to grow closer. Yeah, I don't see that like playing out as much this season, but I think that going back home, we'll see what happens.
Yeah, because that did play out, like you said, a lot in season 1, because Fina was starting to feel bad because she's walking around with her and seeing how popular she's getting, and she's like, "You're always going out on adventures. I don't really get to spend any time with you." And so they introduced the phone.
Yeah.
So she has a little bear.
The bear phone.
Makes a bear phone.
Yeah,
because so they can talk.
Yeah,
you gotta keep up the bear themes, people.
Yeah. Well, it's bear. That's the catch. Like she's OP, but everything's got to be bears.
Wow.
Well, yeah, because
even like the restaurant, and she's like
bear pancakes.
They make bear pancakes, and she's like, "Why does it have to be bears?"
Yeah,
they're like, the bears are cute.
They're like
the kawaii.
Yeah, that's like her theme.
Yeah,
it's the bear show.
Everything's got to be bears. The house has to be bears. The portal has to be bears. Everything's got to be bears.
Yeah.
When you're describing more and more of the show, it kind of has similar tie-ins, at least with like here and there things, like a character wearing OP suit, In this case, it's a penguin suit. The show I'm talking about is Rising a Shield Hero, season 2. The sword girl wears a penguin outfit, but it gives her power, and it's like, okay,
but it's cute.
It's cute.
Yeah. I mean, it's an isekai, so you have those tropes.
Oh yeah. And it's tale as old as time.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
But I think you would like Rising Shield Hero.
Kuma Kuma. So this one's called Kuma 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 Bear Punch.
Yeah.
If you like Kuma Kuma Bear, for sure.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think the sequel is like Kuma 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 Bear Punch or whatever. So it's a like Edwin said, it's a good comfort anime.
I agree. If you like isekai, where they spend a lot of time trying to get food from our world into another world, if you like isekai where they essentially transform the world that they're going into in a very cute way, the stakes are not very high.
Not at all.
So
this is good. Yeah. Kids could watch this.
Yeah,
kids could watch this.
Oh yeah, it's very appropriate. It's age appropriate. It's fun. It's cute. I remember enjoying this quite a bit.
Yeah.
And the second season is pretty much the same tone and flavor of the first season so far. So yeah,
thus far, like they've turned the heat up just a little bit.
Yeah.
We'll see how the season plays out. But
for like 8, 9, 10-year-olds, this would be perfect.
Good show.
Yeah.
Good show. Just fine. Shout out to Jacob for recommending it to me.
Good shout out. Yeah.
Thank you, Jacob.
Good show.
Cool. All right. Let's move on to your next surprise catch-up.
All right, this is probably going to be my last surprise catch-up. Campfire Cooking in Another World.
I knew you were going there. I knew you were going there. Maybe with this food theme. I'm like, he's talking about food. I know it.
You see how seamlessly I tied these all together?
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
I feel. I really did.
Talk about a beautiful comfort anime.
Yeah. Even more so than most typical slice of life shows. I wholeheartedly think this
this is definitely a slice of life in another world.
Mm-hmm.
It's not
it's not even like a sentence where there's like stakes like clamoring on.
Well, this isn't an isekai show. This isn't your traditional isekai show in that it reminds me more. I know you guys haven't seen The Saint's Magic Powers Omnipotent.
I've been meaning to. I've only saw the first 2. Yeah.
That's a really good one where essentially
it's romance. You
have somebody who gets summoned to another world to be like the hero, but they're not.
Oh, no. Not at all.
They're not. And it's more about them exploring this world, not as the hero.
Learning. Yeah.
And this is one of the I think this is one of the best of that category.
Its own bubble.
Yeah, because I think that it really does a great job of like saying, hey, this is the mechanic that we use this person to get to this world. Now we're totally going to run away from it.
And the character too.
Yeah, and tell a completely different story than the one you were expecting.
I just, as it started right off the bat too, that's why I sold on it initially because, the king was like, appraisal, even he doesn't care, but he's like, great, I'm out of here.
Yep. He's like, I'm not getting involved in any of this.
Appraisal.
Yep.
And he has his online shop that he can go to.
His item box of the gods.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah, the amount of stuff that I want that item box.
I was about to say, to be honest, if I was in an isekai and I was isekai'd, I would grab as much as I can for sure.
If I had that item box in Skyrim, I'd still be playing it.
Oh yeah, Skyrim is impossible. You have to carry.
Oh my god!
You have to improve your stamina.
As you said, to sum it up real quick, he's just a regular dude that gets summoned into this world to be a hero. He's not much of a hero, but he has appraisal. He has this. He can go to this online store, but he just gets hungry.
Yeah.
He gets hungry. He wants food from where he's from, so
and sadly he doesn't cook for himself per se, because if you watch along with the show, he has to feed a family.
Well, So I mean, that's
where
his.
It progresses too.
For the isekai genre, that's kind of his OP power. He can cook real well, and so
he has naturally though. Ironically.
I would argue.
No, it was not natural because he said he was an okay cook, but
that's what I mean. Like he's growing his talents on his own. His OP technically is this inventory box and the appraisal, essentially.
Well, I would argue that neither of those make him OP.
Okay.
It's his companions that are OP.
I was going to get to that.
Yeah.
Like he's not OP.
Yeah.
Thing that makes him OP is his ability to cook, and that's what keeps his OP companions
Close by.
Yeah. Very close.
By.
Yeah.
So he has the
Fenrir.
Yeah.
And then he gets the blessings from the gods.
Yeah.
In
exchange for snacks.
In exchange for snacks, he gets the blessings from what was the wind goddess first?
Yeah.
Yep.
Who's like Aqua from KonoSuba.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very much so.
Very much so like Aqua from KonoSuba.
Mm-hmm.
And then the other goddesses find out and they're like, how come you didn't tell us about this?
Yeah. We want in on this too.
And so they're like, no, we want some too.
Yeah.
We want some too.
Everybody wants in on it.
Hey, man, I love the goddesses. They're oh man, I hope they talk more about them in the second season for sure.
So he ends up getting blessings from all these goddesses.
Yeah. Compared to Fenrir has only got one blessing from the wind. Yeah.
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 And then the slime, he got the blessing from the water goddess.
Yes.
Which is interesting. I was like, yeah, give something for slime. Yeah.
Well, he couldn't take it.
Well, yeah, his natural element.
He couldn't. Yeah, it was against his natural elements. Mm-hmm. So he couldn't take the blessing. So he said, "Give it to the slime."
Yeah,
which made the slime OP.
Yep.
Yeah. So he was already on his road to being OP.
Oh yeah.
Between like the amount of XP that they gained with Fenrir's battles. Yeah. And then the food that he was feeding him, it's like, oh yeah.
Mm-hmm. And I love that the food gives him like this superstar
otherworldly food.
Yeah.
We got to stress that it's the otherworldly food.
Yes.
Food from our world.
Yeah.
Essentially works as status boosters. Status boosters, yeah. Which is hilarious because
he's already OP.
Yeah.
Yeah, for Fenrir it is, even more powerful once he eats cattle or something.
Well, he realized that at the beginning when he hires the adventurers to take him, like, get me out of here.
Yeah, the adventurers.
He wants to get as far away from the Empire that summoned him.
Yeah.
And so when he's, like, feeding them, he's like, oh, I got to be careful with this. Mm-hmm. And then when he does it with Fenrir, he's like, oh, I have to be doubly careful with this because this really makes him OP.
When he ate the Kobo steak,
Yeah, well,
the Kobe steak.
Kobe steak.
I love that the guilds are like, dude, man, these are legendary monsters. We don't even know what to do with them.
Yeah. There's no price for them.
It's like the butcher's like, I could chop up anything. Then they bring these. He's like, we've never even seen these before. Yeah. We don't know what to do with this.
Yeah.
And then they're like, we can't even we don't have enough money to take this stuff.
We have to borrow from the king.
Well, and I love too that they're embarrassed that they ate legendary monsters like it was nothing.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I'm eating stall
The fried food.
Yeah, they're like chowing down. And then he's like, yeah, that was this monster. And they're like, you shared that with us?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And for him, it was like nothing because it's like.
Well, because Fenrir is just like, here, make me food. Yeah.
Well, Fenrir, like that happened because Fenrir had the Kobe beef and it was so good. So he was just like, all right, I'm gone.
His ultimate form.
He went to hunt and he had so much stuff.
Yeah.
And he's like, trying to stuff it into his item box.
He's like, I can't do this.
He's like, I can't. What can I do with all this? And so then they get there, and he gets to the guild, and they're just like, oh, I have this, and I have this.
Yeah, and they're like, dude, we can't do anything with that.
Yeah. And they're like, we don't even have the space to store this to even start to strip it. And they're like, you know what? I just want the meat.
He's like, I just need the meat. I just have to feed these two because if I don't, oh my God.
What was I going to say? I like how Fenrir has his preferences.
Oh,
it's a very unique take because he can eat anything and he's an animal at the end of the day. But at the same time, he's like, I'm feeling the chicken. I'm feeling the cuckoo.
It's like, well, I want this and I want that.
We're not having that today. And
he's like, where's the meat?
Mostly, pretty much all meats.
Where's the meat?
Yeah.
He likes the what was the garlic sauce?
Yes.
Oh God,
yes.
yeah. Well, the thing about this show is it makes everything sound delicious.
Yeah.
And also,
Like I literally had to go. Like I went to shout out to Mitsuwa. Like I'm like, all right, I know that they have this there. I'm going to go and I'm going to try it because he made it look so good on the show that I have to have this. And I'm like, all right, I'm going.
I've been meaning to deep dive into all the recipes. There's 2 or 3 of them I definitely will try. I've never fried my own food, to be honest. And like this show gave me the confidence of frying food.
Do it. Fried your own food.
Yeah, he makes the show. The food is so well drawn.
Yeah,
it's ridiculous.
Well, Mappa had a whole special series. Like each episode had a special food highlight, and they showed the process of the animation, the in-between sketching, word from word. It's seamless.
It's a really good-looking show,
and that's how
it is a good-looking show.
It's real as can be.
Good-looking show.
Yeah.
Like I mean, the food, the backgrounds, the character animations. Fenrir by himself, the designs on Fenrir,
the natural
are just like
and the cartoony side of it too. It's like
I mean, there's a little cartoony-ish, but
it's good.
But
it transitions perfectly. Yeah.
But they can make him look. They can go from making him look so silly to so stately
and majestic,
and like distinguished and majestic that you're like, wow, they really took care and put a lot of effort into animating this.
Yeah.
And I really love that because I had read the light novel, and then I had read a bunch of the manga too. And so when I heard about that it was coming out, I was really jazzed about it.
Oh yeah.
And it turned out to be like one of my favorites of the season because it was just so well done.
And with the catch-up, I only saw like the first 4 or 5 episodes, and it could have been my top 5.
Yeah.
It didn't, maybe because of the length I watched it. But I'm like, this could be an early favorite, though.
Yeah.
I just knew from the finale because my favorite episode is the 10th episode or so when he builds his own bathhouse. That's so good.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That's a good.
And
episode.
it's a funny show
because he had so much money.
Yes.
Yeah. He's like, I don't know what to do with all this.
He had nothing to do with it, and then he was like, I could take a bath.
Yeah.
And then trying to get Fenrir to bathe.
That was hilarious.
Yeah, that was funny.
That was hilarious.
Even the merchant in the episode.
That was a good episode.
When he's trying to please his wife.
I liked you see that play out in a lot of different anime.
Yeah.
With the shampoo,
like I said,
the shampoo and soaps and everything.
But I thought it was really funny the way they handled it in this one.
Very much so.
Yeah. She was like, she grabbed dude.
Yeah.
Whoa. Yeah. Oh my God.
Great show.
Yeah.
Great show. We also had to talk about the problems that Fenrir causes.
Oh, all the time. Yeah.
And he's not at fault. Yeah. But will be a problem.
It's just his mere presence.
Well,
because he's trying to get into these places and they're like, you can't come in here with him.
One of my favorite gags was toward the end where they're fighting the dragons. He kills like 23 dragons.
Oh, yeah,
like 30
it's nothing.
dragons or whatever.
Like it's nothing.
Him and the slime.
Yeah, him and the slime just go to town.
I want to go pew pew.
Essentially,
pew pew.
murdering these dragons out of the sky.
Because he's trying to keep the slime with him. Like, all right, you can stay here.
It's like Gurgle. It's like baby Gurgle.
And the slime is like, no, I want to fight.
Yeah.
I want to pew
pew pew pew pew.
And so they go and they slaughter all these dragons.
Like it's nothing.
And then in the middle of this death field, they decide they want to have a picnic. And everybody back at town is like, are they dead? What happened to them? And they show up and they're like, oh, you guys were worried. Oh, yeah. And Fenrir's like, yeah, we had a picnic. We ate a meal. And then he's like, dude, don't tell them that.
Right.
Like, come on. And they're all like,
yeah.
What?
And the timing,
But,
we haven't even brought up the timing and the cues and the hilarity. It's seamless. And this is my status quo for most comedies. It does it beyond that.
Well, going back to what Jamaal said, it's like Fenrir is like essentially like this legendary beast that can take down dragons. And he does. But also, like, if you piss him off, he might, destroy your entire city.
Yeah.
Right.
He's at that level. So it's like, and you think at first that that's how this show is going to play out. But then
it's him as a focus. Yeah.
Well, it's smart enough where it's like, we don't want that to be the focus of the show. We want to like
the cooking
and the traveling and the camaraderie and the the humor to be the main focus.
Oh my! Oh
and
my!
I was glad about that because some shows do get kind of like derailed or distracted,
right? They do.
By these conflicts, these political conflicts that are.
Skeleton Knight kind of has that.
Skeleton Knight, yeah. Skeleton Knight, it had a good start, but it kind of devolved into that.
Precisely.
And I'm glad that didn't happen with Campfire Cooking. I'm glad that they realized, and that's another thing. He doesn't build a house.
No.
He doesn't build. He buys a bathtub,
right?
But he doesn't build a house
because of the storage, and it's convenient that way.
Well, my thing is, it's like this is a show where they're gonna keep moving.
They like going on their adventure.
Yeah,
because he's like, "Ooh, the Kraken is good.
Yeah,
we need to get to the ocean.
Yeah,
so,
you know,
and
so
plus,
it's their adventures in kind of in the same way like Kuma Kuma, where it's just like she had the same adventure where it's like, ooh, I want seafood.
Yeah.
We need to get to the water. Fenrir is the same way. He's like, the Kraken is great.
Yeah.
I need you to fix this.
Yep.
We need to find our way over there. So they're just like, all right, man, let's just, okay.
Yeah.
Well, there was an episode where he finds some fish.
Yeah.
I think he just killed an entire lake of fish.
Yeah.
And dude is like,
he just did the thunder, just like, whatever. Watch this.
Yep. And he's like, oh, seafood is great. We have to get to the ocean.
Yeah. And not only he's a troublemaker and like trying to test his wills, he's also he just wants to get the best out of people. Like that episode with the Gryffindor or the Griffins. I forgot the animal.
Oh yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, the initiation for that one Griffin. That was an excellent episode too.
That was a good episode. Yeah.
Because it was just at the day Fenrir, he has his ways.
Well, I thought Fenrir was just going to kill them all.
That's what I mean. He has his ways.
He convinces him. It's like, hey, dude, let's scale it back just a little. You know, let's not like this brutalize everybody for food.
Yeah. And Fenrir's he's becoming more friendly. And almost kind of fatherly to the slime.
Yeah. Well, he calls him Uncle. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Uncle Phil.
Uncle's the new daddy kind of thing.
Yeah. So that you have that, and he's just like, he's like, oh, well, my magic isn't really working. He's like, you need to get into combat, dude. So Fenrir just kind of like manipulates him over to, I want to go over here. And then it's just like, all right, there's a bunch of goblins. Take care of it.
And he's like, what?
Yes. So, I mean, he does his magic and it gets better. And then he's like, you need to be in combat to get better.
Yeah.
And so while he's like, no, I'm cool. The slime is like, no, give me the combat.
Yeah.
I want to pew pew.
Yeah.
Pew pew.
I want to pew pew.
And how it also makes medicine too. And it's like, whatever. I want pew pew.
That was another crazy thing that it could make medicine.
Yeah.
Because that was something else he could sell.
And it paid off near the end, too.
Yeah. Well, I saw that play out. There's another one I've been watching called Grace of the Gods. And the guy essentially is a slime. He's a tamer.
Yes.
And his whole thing is slimes. So when this slime kind of came up with that, I wasn't surprised at all. I'm like, okay, I saw that in this other show.
Mainly for the awesome contrast with the show sneaks in too. His two guilds, the Merchants Guild and the Adventurers Guild, he can sell the medicine as a merchant. Yeah, so this guy hasn't made.
Yeah,
he's got it made.
Oh yeah, all the money.
He had to. He didn't want to be an adventurer at all.
He just wanted to get out.
He just wanted to be a merchant.
And who knows if he would never met Fenrir? He would just be quietly living.
He had to become an adventurer.
Well, there were benefits to both.
Yeah.
There were benefits to both. Getting through the cities without paying a lot of money.
No taxation.
Yeah. And then so there were benefits for him for both. But at the same time, it's like I'm glad that wasn't the focus of the show.
Right.
Yeah.
Like it could have been like Realist Hero or something like that.
Well, I mean, I've seen shows where it's just like, okay, they just find stuff to give to the merchants and they make money and they build a house and then they're in the house and then there's a tub in the house and they go through the motions of like, all right, this is what you do when you have an isekai.
Even Spice and Wolf, or like a show like Spice and Wolf.
Yeah, it's like, all right, these are the beats that you have to meet when you're doing this kind of isekai, and this show manages to avoid them.
Yeah,
or I don't know that it's avoiding them, where it's like that's not going to be our focus.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, they have the little arc where he does the favor for him by taking out the Griffins? And he's like, here, we'll give you this. Here, now you're C rank. You don't have to do a mission for 6 months because he doesn't want to do the adventures. He's like, can we just like pick flowers for potions?
Yeah.
And Fenrir's like, no, you need to gain this experience if you want your magic to get better
and get your investment.
That was the mithril
return investment.
The mithril dragon.
Yes, the mithril dragon.
And then there was another one.
The crystallized lizard thing, or is that the mithril dragon?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. My mistake.
Yeah, that was one of the ones because he's like, all right, well, you got Fenrir with you, so we think you can handle bigger missions.
Speaking of having it made, it's beyond having made. Plus, with the goddess troop helping you out.
All right. So it was like those were the 2 missions where like there was 2 missions, but it was after the Griffin one because they had gone through. The Griffin was like on their way to this town.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're right.
Traveling through that like gigantic forest that would have taken him like 2 or 3 months on foot, but with it took him like a few weeks. Yeah.
And can you believe Mappa did this? I mean, Mappa also did Dance Dance and Shore last year, and that's an interesting show. Total contrast compared to Jujutsu Kaisen and Chainsaw Man. So it's like they're covering their bases.
The range is
I believe it's their first isekai too. I have to do some research on that. So I'm like,
but a great job. I mean, a great job.
It's an early favorite for the year.
Yeah,
it's already better than most shows debuted in the spring season.
It's a very fun show.
Yeah,
very fun show. It doesn't have a ton of those isekai tropes that you see in a lot of isekais.
No,
it like you said, it's a departure from it.
Yeah, very much so. Well, this show
literally, it's not like parody either.
No,
it's
not
like,
deconstructive,
which is weird because it manages to be it's a humorous show and it has its funny moments. But the comedy isn't dependent on those tropes.
No, it's dependent on the character interactions with each
situational.
other.
Yeah.
A similar show that kind of
it's a situation comedy.
Yeah, a similar show anime that has a similar tone, comedy wise, is The Dragon Goes House Hunting.
I can agree with that.
Yeah, crossover appeal at the end.
Well, because it's an odd couple show.
Yep,
and that's where the humor comes in. It's like the awkward like interactions between them because of like who they are.
Yeah.
And it really avoids a lot of the isekai tropes because it's like that's not going to be the focus of this. It's very much like our favorite
for food or isekai or
for food.
Laid Back Camp. Laid Back Camp. Okay.
Yeah, it's very similar in tone to Laid Back Camp, where it's mainly about the camping and the food.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they don't really spend time on there's the Adventurers Guild, the Merchants Guild, but they really don't spend time on the politics or the tropes or any of that. It's really just about like adventuring another world and using the it's like a mythological guide to cooking in another world.
Yeah,
and
it's
cooking with mythological creatures.
Because the first time he made an orc, he's like, "Ooh, an orc."
Like it's like, kind of sentient. I don't know.
Yeah, he was like, I don't know if he was very hesitant to eat it. Then he's like, oh, it's like pork.
Yeah, which essentially, that's what an orc is. It's like, at the end of the day, it's like, I mean. And so it's very funny. It's very laid back. It's very much a comfort anime. I don't have a single criticism that I think I could level at this show. I mean, I think it's all good. I don't think there's a negative point that can be made, and I think it's for all audiences. I think it gets a little bit it's a little bit gross with all the killing.
Okay, how they do it, the butchering.
Yeah, I think the death gets a little bit graphic. Fenrir, and it's played for laughs. The extreme nature of like how much he kills in order for his quest to have lunch.
It's psychotic. It is.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. It's like
I get that.
It's over the top, and I think if you're gonna watch
it, to its credit, a lot of it is off screen.
Yeah, only the dragonfly I could think of being like kind of malice.
Well, no, like there's no like, Yeah, well, all the murdering, all the butchering happens mainly off screen.
Off screen. Yeah.
And then when you do see the amount that he's done, it's played for laughs because it is so extreme
and ridiculous.
And I think that's the only thing that might make it a little bit scary for like little kids,
like youngest of youngs.
Yeah,
but I think they probably won't get the humor anyway.
Yeah. But otherwise, I think this is a show that anybody could watch.
Yeah, I think anybody could watch this show.
Yeah,
you might need to cover their eyes for a couple of things, but nothing bad. There's no explicit language really. There's
there's no insinuations of anything.
No, just very straightforward. Just a very straightforward anime. It's very good.
Yeah,
it's very good. This is a definitely a top contender of the year.
Yeah, it's firing on all cylinders.
Very fun, very light.
Yeah. Might be. Well, I mean, we'll see about the competition on the way to the end of the year.
Because we got a lot of heavy hitters this year.
Yeah. I hope it doesn't get lost, but I think for best comedy, it could be a contender.
You could be up there.
Definitely for best isekai. Yeah.
And it's, I would say it was like with the
best animation too.
Yeah. With the Anime Corner, how they did rankings, I think it was like steadily 8-7 range. I think it will hold over. I think, especially with MAPPA and their influence this year alone, I'm like, it'll be a favorite. I think so.
Yeah. I hope so.
I hope so too. Well, a well-deserved favorite.
Yeah.
Because, like you said, it hits on every beat. Like this show was, I'd give it a 9 out of 10.
Yeah.
Yeah. First season, especially.
9 out of 10.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
And it's also one where I'm like, I'm good. Like even if they have second season, it's cherry on top. So
oh, there's definitely going to be a second season.
Yeah, it will be, and especially if Fenrir gets in more trouble, and if the king actually catches up to him.
Well, this is a show that has a formula that I think they could do multiple seasons.
Yeah,
and you wouldn't get tired of it.
Oh no.
Yeah, because it's like, I think that the reasons that you watch the show, as long as it continues to maintain that quality, you could watch it for quite a while.
Yeah. It's based on the interplay between the characters, how they're growing, what they're going to go and eat next.
Yeah. And it's like, I'm down for that.
Yeah.
If I could watch like 4 or 5 seasons of Diners, Drive-Ins, and Dives, then I could definitely watch like,
a Guy Fieri for it.
But you know what I mean. It's like part of the fun is the adventure of going to new places,
right?
And part of the fun is watching. Let's get what are they going to eat this time?
Anthony Bourdain levels too is extraordinary. Oh, for sure. Oh man.
And then you got the thing. It'll be interesting to see. Like, because he wants this slime to just be a cute, cuddly slime.
Oh yeah,
and the slime,
it goes him to.
And the slime is like, no, I want to fight.
Pew pew.
Well, I think
so
the slime's
it'll be interesting to see like
where that goes.
That dynamic and where that goes.
And if it will even be stronger than Fenrir, and Fenrir challenges it.
That's interesting because it is powering up at a crazy rate.
Well, it reminds me of Philo in
Rising the Shield Hero.
Rising the Shield Hero, yeah, where she's like really cute, but she's a heavy hitter too.
Stronger than Reptilia.
Yeah. So we'll see where that goes, and we'll see like if other characters are introduced. That would be cool too.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so a couple quick hitters from the current season going on. Have you guys started KonoSuba yet?
I watched the first episode. I was not as impressed.
You're getting used to the new characters essentially.
It wasn't very clear as to what was going on.
Yeah, I agree.
I was kind of confused.
I agree.
Yeah,
I agree. The first. I watched the first. Is there 2 or 3 episodes?
I think there's 3, but I've watched the first.
There's 3.
I watched the first one.
The first one was very confusing to me too.
I was like, okay, this is her inspiration. You would think that they would like be clearer on her inspiration for wanting this kind of magic, freeing that chaos magic user or the explosion magic user. You would think that they would have focused more on that since this is like her inspiration for it.
And that's what this season's about.
I mean, KonoSuba is about a bunch of screw ups anyway.
Right.
But like they made her a little too ditzy.
I agree.
For this, and I'm like, all right, if this is going to be your sole purpose in life is to learn this magic and to use it.
She was the one serious one. in the show.
Yeah.
Like the rest of them were ditzy, but she was very focused and very serious.
Yeah, and it starts out, she starts out ditzy.
Yeah.
But then when she gets to school, you can see that this is her purpose.
Yeah.
To me, there was a kind of disconnect between that.
I agree.
Yeah.
Because they made it in the next couple episodes, they make it clear that she's like the number one. Yeah. She's like number one in the class.
Yeah.
The only downfall for her is that she wants to be an explosion user, and they're like, that's just gimmick magic.
Yeah,
it's kind of like
they don't treat it seriously, but it's serious
it's
magic.
like 3-card Monty to them.
Yeah.
You know,
it's like, are you going to be a magician or are you going to be a music performer?
Right.
It's like,
right.
You know, you can be on stage and do this like one act, or are you going to be a magician?
So
it's a tough balance.
Well, no, it's kind of like. No, it's kind of like, are you stupid or something?
Oh, okay,
it's like, yeah, they're telling her like
they
see the through the facade.
The instructor makes a joke, the class laughs at her.
Yeah,
in one of the episodes, they literally laugh at her because and she's dead serious. Like, no,
like that's for like
is the
stage.
Best.
They're like, that's for stage people. That's not for like real magicians. So they're telling her, but I think that what it is that there's a lost magic that they don't know about, and that's where she's going. But at the same time, it's like that's not the vibe you get in KonoSuba.
No, not at all.
So this is
a singular focus too, compared to the original series where it has 4 wacky characters.
Yeah, well, they have characters in this, but they're pretty basic. Yeah, they're pretty basic.
They're pretty basic. There's the girl with the patch.
Yeah,
which I'm like, oh, okay, so this is where she gets that from. And then there's the girl that we know from KonoSuba that she hates. That's her rival. She's in the show, so you kind of see like the genesis
of that rivalry,
and where that comes from.
Mm-hmm.
But
everybody else is pretty generic.
Yeah, it's very generic. There's nothing about this thus far that stands out to me.
Yeah,
which was a little disappointing.
Very,
especially if you're a Megumin fan, because I think a lot of people love Megumin.
Yeah, they do.
So to see this,
I think she's one of their. I think that
they probably voted number one. But Darkness has a cult following. Like that's my favorite. But
because it's Darkness, man.
And Aqua's the selling point. Like,
hello, Darkness, my old friend. She's trouble, man.
Oh yeah. I don't know why, but it's like,
no, Megumin. I mean, I think most people who watch KonoSuba, that is their favorite.
It's the funniest one for sure.
She's their favorite character.
Yeah.
I mean, I've only gone to a couple of conventions, but I'm pretty sure I've seen the Megumin at every
this past C2 too. I saw Darkness. It was a good Darkness.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh wow. I did not see that.
Aqua's usually a staple too.
Yeah, Aqua's an easier costume. Yeah.
And Megumin, you definitely need the right one to do it. And usually dime a dozen. They're usually good ones.
We were actually talking about like what shows we're like getting into this season so far.
Mm-hmm.
But we can like go over like I'm really enjoying Skip and Loafer. What's the other one? The other slice of life?
Oh, it's Insomniacs After School?
No. Yamada is at level 99.
Oh, that one. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think Jamaal would like that one.
Yeah. Yeah, those two right now I think are my favorites. I mean, there's a quite a few isekai that I can't. There's I need a map just to keep up with the titles of these things.
Yeah, they're so long.
Yeah. And not only that, like it's such a sporadic and such a bombard spring season. Edwin still had yet to see the first 2 episodes of Demon Slayer.
Yeah.
I can understand that because
it was a later announcement too.
No, I mean it's just like that season 2 of Demon Slayer. Like we said before, it was all gas, no brakes.
Yeah. You need a breather.
You don't want to watch that just one episode at a time.
No,
like I've watched them, but even now I'm like.
Well, because
I want to watch this in the block. I want to watch.
Okay, so you want to watch it. You want to watch it in sequence.
Yeah, you don't want to watch it just once. It kind of angers you when you watch.
Well, that Entertainment District arc was so tightly woven, that it just feels like one thing.
Yeah,
it doesn't feel like I watched separate episodes.
Yeah,
it felt like I just watched one movie.
Yeah,
I mean, I really can't like discern. Like, I can't tell you like what the episode breaks were. I can't tell you like what happened in this episode.
There's a key cliffhanger.
Like, I can tell you what happened through the majority of the show, of that season. But if you tried to tell me that there were episodes, I'd call you a fucking liar.
There's only one.
You're a liar.
There is one key cliffhanger though, and that's the perfect cherry on top cliffhanger. Like, I want to watch it.
Yeah,
like, right as it debuts.
Yeah, no, I think I'm probably gonna see, because I agree with Jamaal. It's what's gonna happen is I'm gonna let a few episodes go by. I'm gonna go in. I'm gonna watch 3 episodes, and I'm gonna get mad because the next episode isn't there. Because that's the thing about Demon Slayer. I mean, like, it's 20 to 25 minutes long, but it doesn't feel like that.
Yeah.
It doesn't mess around.
And then the first episode there, I'm trying to do the math. Isn't it an hour? Feels like, well, because of the dang movie.
Well, close to an hour. It's like 45
there
minutes.
There you go. That's the ticket.
Because it's like 2 episodes in one.
Yeah. Longer debuts. There you go.
2 episodes.
Did you watch My Home Hero?
No.
Okay. That was rough.
That one, I'm like, nah, don't even bother.
I watched
that was rough.
Jack's recommendation, Hell's Paradise.
Yes!
Oh, how do you like that? I watched the first episode.
I watched the first 3.
Okay. How'd you like it?
I've yet to see a third one.
Surprising.
All right, Jack, what do you think? What do you think, Jack?
Okay.
Well, you read the manga, so
reading the manga, and it's weirdly not as high of a praise compared to Chainsaw Man. I feel like there's different camps for that. It feels like it.
Well, you didn't really like you didn't really like Chainsaw Man.
Sadly, and
you thought it was overhyped.
Yeah, it redeems itself. It's steady. It's just not like, I don't think it's better than Jujutsu Kaisen.
No,
that's what I mean.
I think all of us thought Chainsaw Man was over, because I remember when we did the stream, even Jesse said he didn't see it yet.
Yeah,
I didn't think that it was. I didn't think that it was overrated, but I did think that it was overhyped.
Yeah. I think we all.
And once I saw the first 3 episodes, I'm like, I get it. Okay, it's not like Citizen Kane. That's fine with me. That's more than fine with me.
Well, with Chainsaw Man, I think it's the intelligence level of the characters.
It's skewed. It is.
Well, because they're so damaged. They're so damaged that it's like, I get what's going on, and like the thing, man, that show's so fucked up.
It is.
It's so messed up, and I think that's
a hard world.
Yeah. For me, I think that's what made it better than I think for you guys, because for me, it's like, man, these people they're fucked. Like these people are being used on such an epic scale by monsters.
Yeah. And
that they can't even see it.
I can't remember what show it was, but we talked about that and how it just wouldn't let you up. And Chainsaw Man kind of gives me that feel.
Mm-hmm. Oh, there's dark anime out there. And,
it's dingy for me. I just don't identify with him.
Okay. You were mentioning with June earlier.
I just don't like.
Well, he's so
annoying to me. And his motivations are dumb. Like if I was 14, I'd probably be like, "Ooh,
and that's the gap.
This is great."
And that's the gap with Jesse, with us. We're past our 20s, and Chainsaw Man's perfect for the career crop of people just getting into anime. This is ridiculous. This is like gory. This is awesome. It's just how it is. A natural energy.
Dude that just wants to touch boobs. That's his,
and that's partially it. Yeah.
That is his goal.
Yeah.
He just wants to touch boobs.
Well, you do see that after he has his experience with Makima, he's like, oh, and then when he has his experience with power, he's like, and then he's starting to realize like, oh, he's growing like throughout the show. It's not fast, and it's not in any way that you would be like, dude, fucking get it.
Yeah, and it's not a show that's supposed to be growth like. Well,
that's not the main focus, but I appreciate that it's there.
It's trying to be, yeah.
Yeah, I appreciate that it's there.
Yeah.
But he's like really like they're really damaged.
Yeah.
Like and I kind of like that because you don't.
I like it.
You don't see that. It's not necessary, but they're doing it anyway because it's like, all right, we want our characters to be damaged. We want them to grow. We want them to change. It's like we want to start here and go to there. We don't want to just be like the horror, like, you know,
and the finale,
gore and the horror.
The finale thins itself out. And what I'm trying to get at with the Hell's Paradise and Chainsaw Man, I feel like there's still a disconnect. I feel like if people, similar to Demon Slayer, if they give it like a good ride, okay, I have to catch up, maybe 6 episodes in a row, they'll see the magic unfold. Because the first and second episode are totally different in tone.
So what do you think of the main character for this show? Because I felt like I didn't get a dingy vibe, but I definitely got that vibe of somebody who is...
Or for Goro, you mean?
Yeah, for the main character for Hell's Paradise.
Okay, my mistake.
Yeah, I definitely got the vibe of this is somebody who is locked in to what they know. And it's like, all right, where is that going to go with this character?
You'll see.
Yeah.
You'll see.
I'm still feeling out the character. I'm still feeling out the show in general.
That's the thing.
That's the thing with anime. Yeah.
It's the first episode, they lay it out. I'm like, okay, cool. And then I'm like, okay, I get his motivations. I can understand this. It's kind of like you said, he's just this broken dude who didn't think much of himself, ready to die. And then he meets this woman who just sees something else in them.
Yeah, and she can actually kill him.
And she turns him around. No. I'm talking about his wife.
Oh, his wife. Okay, my mistake.
And his wife that just turns him around. And she has this tragic horror story where, you know, her father burns her.
Her face, yeah.
And she's just like, but I'm still here. And like, you may have done these things, but like, I can see inside of you, you want to do good. Get him to like, all right, I don't want to kill no more. I can identify with that because I've read like, you know, mafia hitman books and whatnot for these dudes that like, all right, I have to kill. That's my job, but I have a family. And they just have that disconnect where they can live those two lives.
Compartmentalize.
They can compartmentalize. So I can see him compartmentalizing. And then it's like, all right, I have an opportunity to be back with my wife. This one person that believed in me, that got me to change from doing this. All right, I'll do it. I can see it. So I understand his motivations. And so I'm like, I can get into it. And then you have the side character of the samurai girl who can kill him. And she has her own story because she can do it, but she's nervous.
She's technically a rookie.
She hesitates. She doesn't want to. It's like, you can tell it's not in her.
But yeah,
she's not the cold-blooded killer that he can be.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. It's her job. It's the family business.
Yeah, but that's not who she is.
But it's not who she is.
And that's what I was trying to get at ultimately.
So you have those two things at play. And she has this responsibility to him, but she's another one that's very into the rules. And, you know, even though all these other people over here are breaking the rules.
They're criminals, literally.
They're criminals that, like, moving forward in the show, they're breaking the rules. Because they're supposed to keep their hands tied.
Yeah.
And she, like, makes him keep his hands tied while the other ones are like,
I'm not keeping my hands tied. Yeah.
And so the other ones are like, why would we keep their hands tied? If they win, we just tie them up before we leave. Like, what's the deal? And when she's like, no, those are the rules.
Yeah.
Like,
but
that's what the Shogun said, so that's what it's going to be.
Yeah. Ironically, they're going into an island with monsters and death awaits them. Like, there's still like a code with her.
Yeah. Well, to give a brief recap of the show, this dude who's supposed to die he won't die, and so Goro, and so the girl who's the samurai. They tried to kill him. They tried to chop his neck and he doesn't die. And then they tried to hang him and he doesn't die. They try to burn him. He doesn't die. And she's like, you say you're ready to die and you want to die, but you keep resisting death every time it comes up. Why is that? And so that's when he breaks down and talks about his wife. And she's like, well, you know, she shut herself in after you've gone. And so we get this story that unfolded where he wanted to stop killing. And since he wanted to stop killing, they turned on him and turned him in, and they were going to kill him. And so she's like, there's a way for you to get back to your wife. There's this elixir of life that's on this island. If you go on the island, find this elixir of life, bring it back, they'll pardon you and you can be back with your wife.
This is one kooky island.
And so he's like, all right, fine, I'll do it. The island is weird in that it's kind of like a utopia. There's a lot of flowers, very bright, very green,
but deceiving. Yeah.
But there's a lot. There's something sinister behind it. So they got all these criminals, some of the worst criminals in the world, and they're dropping them off on this island, all to find this elixir of life for the Shogun, so he can live forever.
That's why I think like people are still like testing the waters. They like it. Only like the manga crowd have given it like the rankings up, and people are more familiar with it. But it's also a contrast with pretty much older genres like samurai films, ninja films, Naruto.
That first episode really had that vibe.
Yeah. Well, Lone Wolf and Cub. I forgot to mention this key influence, Lone Wolf and Cub. It's a million times like Lone Wolf and Cub. So it's definitely a throwback. I feel like that's like the hesitating point with a lot of people, but trust me, along the ride, you'll be amazed where it goes. It's very organic, even with all its influences and even all those crazy characters. So I like it a lot.
Well, it's definitely something that, like, last season I was watching The Revengers.
Yeah. Revengers has a similar flair. Yeah.
No, it's just a show called Revenger.
Just Revenger?
Yeah, it's about Edo period assassins.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's a very similar vein. And every season you have maybe one or two shows that are kind of in that genre. I don't know, maybe this one will break out and be different.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's not a genre like the straightforward, like a samurai assassin.
Yeah,
you don't see it as much.
Yeah,
anymore.
It's kind of like a dying genre.
Yeah, but
Sadly.
This one, that first episode was compelling. But yeah, the flowers kind of weirded me out.
That's the
I was like,
the flowers are weird.
It's scary.
It was very.
It's even scarier than Jujutsu Kaisen with the curses.
It was very like 1970s like horror movie
exploitation.
Like, yeah. That's the vibe that I'm getting.
The movie House, a famous Japanese 70s film.
Okay, so maybe that's kind of some of the influences on this one.
Yeah, like I said, what I'm trying to preach at, you don't even think about those influences. It's just its own
thing.
Rise.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I'm going to continue with it. I see episode 4 just came out, so I'm going to continue with that.
Oh, I did see. Okay, I did see the third episode.
You saw the third? Yeah, the third episode was
catch up every week. Yeah.
They were on the island on the third episode.
Yes. Then, like you said, the tying, hand tie episode.
Yeah. So there was that.
Thank you for listening in to another great 950 Club After Hours special. Please like, subscribe, download, and share, and comment. Don't be shy. Let us know if you like the shows we cover and the episodes in general. And once again, we thank you, dear listener, for checking in wherever we have our streaming platforms from YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcast, iHeartRadio, and Podbean. Thank you once again, and goodbye.